Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking, coming to another video review. Hey, I'm here with another Kickstarter game, as you are probably well aware. The name of the Kickstarter game is Xia, right here. I don't have a box, because it's a Kickstarter game, and I don't have a box, but I do have some awesome components that I'm going to show you in just a little bit that comprise the game, and when I show you how to play, you'll see how cool these components are. But this is a game that has an awesome theme. One that just, when I heard about it, and when the guy, Cody, the designer, contacted me about it, I was like, I'd never even heard about the game. I mean, it wasn't even on BGG at that point. He was just kind of like, hey, I'm making this game, you want to take a look? And I was like, okay, I'll take a look at this game. And then I took a look at it, and it blew me out of the water. I mean, the scope of the idea of it and the scope of it. You know, there's been a lot of games out there about space and space exploration and fighting aliens and whatever, and I love those games. I love the space theme. I can't get enough of it. But there really haven't been any games out there for me that have really taken the idea of being the captain of just one ship and flying out into space. And mining asteroids and hunting down outlaws and just being a trader and things like that, and like trying to make your way, you know, get wealth and become, you know, a person of renown, if you will, in like the Intergalactic Trading Corporation or whatever. And you know, there's games out there, computer games, that have simulated this to a great deal. I'm thinking, I mean, I know like the MMO Eve, you know, to some degree has that, you know, as one person in your little ship. But I remember, if you remember a game called Freelancer, this is 5, 6, 7 years ago. But that was a big part of the game. There was an overlying storyline of you in this ship and flying around and following the story, but there also was, you could just go out and fly wherever you wanted. You could just head out and, you know, inspect this planet or go there, or you could hunt down pirates, or you could become a pirate if you wanted to. You know, there was like this, and there also, like, if you go way back, there was a game called Elite that was like pretty much the same thing, and maybe it's because of the fact that, you know, a computer game, you know, is able to handle all the other stuff going on in the background. You just have to worry about the one person. There really hasn't been a game that represents that. So when I looked into the game Xia, and I realized that this game, well, I guess it's like Xia Legends of a Drift System. And, okay, and I'll admit, when I first heard the name, I was like, what is this, some like Fast and Furious drift racing game? I mean, that's what I thought it was. It was like, oh, cool, it's a racing game. No, I mean, I guess like the drift system is it's supposed to be like you're on the outer reaches of a galaxy. And so the galaxy, or the solar system, is like drifting. So it has a weird like revolution or something like that. I mean, I'm not up on my astrophysics, but I guess that's the idea behind it. But anyway, so Xia, Legends of a Drift System, you are that one dude or chick or whatever, and you are piloting your ship, and you are trying to just make a name for yourself. You're trying to make some money. You're trying to improve your ship, and you're trying to like fight pirates or become a pirate, you know, and you're trying to do those cool things that, like, it just would be really cool to try, you know, just kind of like if you think Merchants and Marauders is a really cool game that allowed you to be a pirate. And you allowed you just, or if you wanted to, you could just be a trader, you know. And the game was open, and this is what this game is. It's about having a big open sandbox to play in, and just kind of like doing what you want, and taking you know, taking chances, or you know, mining a nebula for gas, or going through a debris field and hoping you don't run into a mine or something like that. And there's just, and also, if you want, you know, hunting down the hapless merchants and blasting them into atoms and taking their cargo and selling it at your pirate stronghold, if you will. But I mean, and those are the things about this game that are really cool and really enjoyable. And I'm going to show you how to play the game. It's not going to go through turn-by-turn basis, but I'm going to show you exactly, you know, a good overview of the rules. And I'm going to show you these awesome components that this game has. And for a Kickstarter prototype, man, this game is awesome. What I have in front of me here that you can't see, it's right here. But I mean, when the game gets published, and I Oh, I hope it does. I can only imagine the components are even going to get better. And but then after that, I'm going to go on and on and on about why I think this game is awesome and cool. And hopefully, I'll convince you to go and spend some of your hard-earned cash like I did, and we can get this game published. And then all of us can enjoy the heck out of this game for the rest of our lives. So, yeah, all right. I really like the game. I totally gave away the conclusion. But I'm going to show you how to play, and then we'll go back and I can gush about the game some more, all right? All right, let's do this. Wait, here, I want to see a component. More of those in a sec. There is a ton of stuff that goes on with Xia as far as how the game is played and how the game acts and how you win the game and how you fight other people and all this stuff. And there's going to be a ton of information I'm going to have to parlay to you. So I'm just going to kind of go through it all, and I might miss one or two things here, but I do know you can check out the rule book online, and so you can check out to a more greater extent if you so desire. But anyway, so this is the game. When you start off, this is a 4-player game. You can see there are 4 ships out here, and check it out, man. These ships are awesome. And it just, they could have made a ship that just sits on the ground and just sits there. But having them up and flying around like this, just makes it, that much more cool. And of course, these are like the starting ships that are smaller, and that's what you start with. But obviously, there are ships later you get that are bigger, like this. And here's one that just looks like it's supposed to hunt down pirates and kill them, doesn't it? That's just cool. But anyway, enough about the components. I'm sure you'll see tons of pictures of those. Just quickly, I'm going to show you a few things, and I'm going to get them out of the way so we can kind of focus on the game. This is the track for the for winning the game. You just place this marker wherever you wish, as far as how long you want the game to be, and you'll notice that there are some funny little words here. It's like, ooh, you're unknown with 0. These are fame points, FP, and ooh, you're space scum and an asteroid worm, mostly harmless, and so on and so forth. And then if you're playing a big, huge game, 20 is the winning points. But if you wanted to, you could play to 5, or you could play to 10, or whatever. You might notice that there are some purple spots on these locations, and what that means is that's like a certain level where a title will come out. I'm just going to put this away, so we're not going. I won't reference this again, but that's the scoring track. Here are the titles. And this is a deck of cards that you shuffle up or what have you. And when somebody achieves that level of one of those purple spots on the track, you take one of these cards and you flip it over, and this is the title that everybody's going to shoot for. And this says, claim this title, be the first player to completely block an attack with your shields. And once claimed, this title grants you may add +1 to your shield rolls. So this stays like that, and then the first player that actually is able to achieve that particular goal will take this card and they'll get this bonus, put this in front of them. And also, they get 2 fame points just for achieving this particular achievement. And you might be saying, well, how do you completely block an attack with your shields? Well, when I explain combat, I'll explain that in more detail. But so that's all the fame things, and there's tons of these. So it's like some of them are just like you got to fly through the gates to achieve. Some of them are without using shields, fly through 3 asteroid spaces in 1 turn and survive. It's stuff like that. And so it's definitely like things that everybody can shoot for. And it's usually a good point to shoot for because it's worth points, obviously. And points are how you win the game. And also like the bonuses that you get on the bottom of those cards. So, +1 to shields, who wouldn't want that? Anyway, so on your turn, I apologize, I'm getting ahead of myself. One of the first things that happens is that, like in this 4-player game, you will, once everybody gets ready to go, everybody rolls a d20. Whoever rolls the highest gets to pick which ship they want to start with. And there are 4 basic ships to start with: a puddle jumper, numerator, swamp rat, and Easy Tiger. Now, you'll notice that, and if you've played games that have the little blueprints on them, you'll be fairly familiar with this. These spots are where you are able to put the different, well, they're called outfits in the game, but I just call them as ship equipment or ship pieces. And ship pieces look like these, and there's some bunch of them over there. And all these ship pieces will, like the orange ones, are weapons. And so you can see this is a blaster. And if I'm buying this, it costs 2,000 credits. And so, but it has a distinctive shape to it. And I have to figure out a way for this to fit on the ship in some way for me to be able to use it. Now, you can go like this if I want, or what have you. It can't ever, obviously, wouldn't be able to go like that, if you will. So, and all ships generally need an engine to move, and maybe you want a weapon, or like, because there's blasters, but there's also, there are, missiles, which are these dies here. You can see a light missile, 1,000 credits. And also you notice that there's this D8 there. That would be the damage of that weapon. You can see this blaster D8. And also I should mention that these little spots here, that's like the number of times you can use it. And when you use it, you actually fill up those spots with these tokens that look like this. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but I just wanted to, since you're looking at that up close, you can see that. And all the stuff has those on them. Like, here's the Uber engine, and you can see it's got those three, it's like D12. That's like, when you're rolling a die for an engine, unless you're doing a ram attack, which I wouldn't suggest doing because it blows up your own ship real good, but that's what you roll for your movement, to see how many spaces you move. And like, so you can see that's a D12, whereas the light engine is a D6. There is also a shield component, as you can see here. Shields, and like you see there's the spots there. It can be used 3 times. It's a D8. And so there are different components that you have to figure out a way to fit them on your blueprint. When you start off the game, once you pick your ship, or if you're the last person, you have to take whatever anybody else gave you. You have 3,000 credits that you can immediately use to spend on equipment to outfit your ship. You can spend any of it, you can spend all of it, you can spend none of it. You'll notice that even if you don't have an engine, you can still move, because there's an impulse engine, and you can just move 4 like that. So sometimes, and I know a few people I play with, have taken the ships that have the higher impulses, like the impulse of 4, and they just don't start with an engine to begin with. Because they're saying, well, I'm just going to move around really slowly in just this one little area here because I really want shields and a blaster, if you will, or something like that. So once you pick the ship, you get to pick, you get the ship ability. So like if you pick the puddle jumper, let me see if I can find the puddle jumper in here. There it is. So like the puddle jumper has an energy scoop. As an action, roll D20. Nothing happens, but also you can just collect energy. And the interesting thing is that eventually, well, theoretically, you could win the game with one of these smaller ships. But eventually what will happen is that you will trade in your ship, and you'll upgrade to these, like, level 2 ships, and finally to level 3 ships. And you can see that these cost 5,000, level 3 costs 8,000, and you get new ship abilities. However, you get to keep the ship ability that you had prior. You don't lose it when you get rid of that ship. And so you carry on the special ability along with you when you upgrade to a higher level ship. And so that's kind of nice, because then by the time you get your 3rd ship, you have 3 special abilities that you can use every single turn. So I mean that's how these ship work. Now you'll notice that there's these armed tokens right here. I'm just going to show how this works really quick. When you begin, you have your ship, you put your marker on the energy at the topmost level that you have, and then you have your tokens like so, like that, on the armed section of the ship. Here, let me move that a little further up here. And Now, say like this particular ship had a blaster and a shield and a light engine. So it had no ability to do cargo. Maybe it's just like this poor person going to play this is going to be like a pirate or something, or they're going to be out just trying to, yeah, like a pirate trying to blast everybody away. Now, when you use certain things, you just move them like so, and then like so you, as an action, it's like, okay, I'm going to fire my blaster, and so you move that on there like that, and you can use these until you run out of those in that armed section. When your turn is done, if you want to take these and put them back in the armed section, like so, you have to spend energy to move them back. So 1 energy for each one. And you can choose not to if you don't want to, and then these just go into the disarm section. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't go to the disarm section. They remain on the particular item that you left them there. So you'll have to eventually, if you want to be able to like use your engines again or what have you, you'll have to eventually pay the energy to move them back. If something should ever happen, like the components ever got destroyed or damaged because of combat, you take these little crystals like this, and you place them in the spots where the damage it takes. And so if that would take the place of, say there was if you were to take the damage in that spot instead, you would then move that particular into the disarm section. And that's just a real brief overview on how the blueprints work. I didn't mean that to be an exhaustive one by any means, but that's how that works. When I'm going to be explaining the turns pretty soon here, and I wanted just to know when I reference the blueprints and the different things you can do, I just want you to have that knowledge and know what I'm talking about. Alright, so on a person's turn, when it is their turn to begin, I should mention too that he has these like really cool, I can only assume these will be with the game too, but tells you how to win, the different actions, things you can do that can earn you fame points. And like you can see, when you explore, you can get fame points, completing missions, trading, combat, and all those different things. And notice how I like this one. Luck. You earn a fame point every time you roll a natural 20. So every time you roll this 20-sided and get a 20, regardless of where it is, you get a fame point just for doing that. I haven't won the game because of that ever, but I think it'd be pretty cool if I did. But anyway, so it also has a nice little player turn summary of all the different things that you can do on a turn. But anyway, so on a person's turn, they get to take their actions that they wish to do. So when you move, it should be noted that you can move through other players, no matter where they are, but you can't end up on the same spot as another player. So what you'll do on your turn is you're kind of just trying to decide what kind of pilot you're going to be. Do you want to explore areas of space? Do you want to try to mine asteroids? Do you want to try to collect cubes at certain planets and then deliver them to other planets for money? Things like that. And like you'll notice that this particular setup here, it might be tough to see, but over here it says on this planet you can buy 2 pink cubes, whatever pinkium is, and buy 2 of them for 1,000 credits. And then you can go over here and you can sell 1 cube for 1,000 credits. Well, so that's a really easy thing to do. So if on a player's turn they have, say, an engine that has like a D8 to it, and so what they do is they'd spend one of those action cylinders, as I showed you earlier, and I'm gonna spend my action to move. So they take a D8 and they roll it. I just knocked an exploration token, which I'll explain just here in a moment. And it says, I can move 7. So if this was this character, they can go 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to point out something very carefully here. Notice this dark green border that surrounds this planet. That is a planetary shield. If you try to bust through it, you will take damage usually, like on a 1 through 10 on a 20-sided. You'll hit it and you'll take damage. Whatever you rolled, 1 through 10, you'll take that damage to your ship. So it's never a good idea to unless it's a desperation thing where you have to get to the planet for some reason. Because planetary shields will defend you. They do block line of sight as far as other players trying to blast you. So maybe you'll want to go through there to protect yourself. But you'll notice that there's a way in right here. And so this person got a 7 for the moves. They could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now they're on that spot where they can buy cubes. Now, I'm going to reference this again. You'll notice that on these things, there's all these spots with cubes. Every empty spot on your ship that doesn't have a component on it allows you to put a cargo in that space. You don't have to have like a cargo hold to put anything on there. So if this had 3 spaces open, they can gather like 3 cubes. They could put those on there. And so on their turn, they spent 1 thing there. They go there, they buy those cubes, and then they could like use their engine again because they can roll another D8. I got another 7, which is actually pretty cool, and I just turned that over to reveal that, and so they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hopefully they can go again, and I can go 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and they make it into it. Now maybe now they're out of action, so they can't go anywhere. But next turn, if they can make it to that location, they can then sell those cubes and make some money. And then they can turn that money because they're on a planet, and this is important to note. On a planet, you can always recharge your energy on a planet for free. So if you've used up your energy taking actions, you can do that. And certain things like the nebula will drain your energy as well. You can buy new components if you have the money. You can go ahead and on the planets you can also buy a new ship. You can also trade in. If you have it, you can trade in 5,000 credits and get a fame point. And so you can also sell components that you don't want. You get half your money back if you sell components. And also, if you happen to have any damage in your ship, you can repair them that there as well. And so that's, if you're a trader, that's what you're going to be doing a lot of. And it doesn't sound like it'd be all that exciting, but the whole point usually with trading is that you're building up your ship to get a bigger one so you can go on and do something else. And I've had people play the game the entire time as a merchant, and they've done pretty well. And as a matter of fact, won a few things as well. So, that's something you can do. Now, I mentioned these exploration tokens. I even turned this one over. If a player is moving and goes through a spot with an exploration token, they can turn it over and they get the reward that's on it. In this case, this is a free fame point. They've explored that area and now they have that fame point. It's important to note that some actions, when you do them as far as when you're moving, like they are considered a minor action, meaning that you can just do it on the fly, if you will. So a player, this is a minor action. So when a player moves through a spot with an exploration token, they just get it without having to stop. And so you can just do that. So if one player is trying to be an explorer, they can try to find these exploration tokens and turn them over. Like here's one with another fame point. I'm going to see if I can find one. There's another fame point. Oh, there's one with 1,000 credits. There's also ones that have a big red X on them. Let me see if I can find one here. And yeah, here they go. And if you find one with that, you get nothing. So that's just unfortunate. But you can laugh at your friends when they get that, whenever they went out of their way to try to find a certain spot on the board thinking that it was going to help them out. And I've had a lot of people play the Explorer thing where they try really desperately just to blast off and find more in new areas and trying to locate those tokens, because it can be a really easy way to get a lot of points easily. Now you might be wondering, how do I find another spot? If you're playing and you get to an edge of a location, you can expend an energy to scan the next area, in which case you get to draw a new sector from the top, and then you have to place it as per the little icon there. And you're probably tough to see. This is like, there's a little like half circle there. And so what you have to do on the new token is you have to find the spot that has the half circle. And there's the half circle like that. And then you just line it up so it matches like so. And bam. So there you have the new location. And now after you scan, now you can move in there and you can do what you want. And so you can see that there's a spot over here to explore. And when that happens, you reach into the cup and you grab a new one without looking at it, and you place it in that spot. So now there's a new place for that to do. And here's another plasma area, or a nebula plasma. And nebulas are, it should be mentioned that when you move into them, there's a really good chance that you will take damage to your energy, which will, if you ever run out of energy, you're considered stranded, and then you can only actually move your impulse speed because of the fact that your engines don't work anymore. And what's really cool is if another player goes up to you while you're stranded, they can give you 2 energy and to give you some power so you'd be able to use your engines again. And they also get a fame point for being a nice guy. And you can't refuse that. You can't, like, I actually had a person they were on like 18 and they went to help somebody and they're like, well, I'm not going to let you, and I don't want to give you the fame point. It's like, well, you have to allow them to do it. And it was that player's fault for allowing them to get into that position anyway. So that's how that works. Also, I mentioned that you can mine asteroids and things like that. You have to do that on the spot that actually says that. Like this part that says that you can come here and you can mine these asteroids. On a 1 through 10, you take that amount of damage. It's like because you ran into an asteroid. On 11 through 20, you get a pink cube. Over here, in this nebula, you can mine the gas. On a 1 through 10, you take that amount of energy damage. And then on 11 through 20, you get a green cube. Now, both those damage can be mitigated by your shields. So you can immediately roll on your shields if you have the energy to allow yourself to do that, to take less. Now, another way that you can explore another location is just do it blindly. As that ship, you could just say, you know what, oh, actually, that one moves. Let's do this guy. Let's make it his turn. He's going to move over here, and he's like, you know what, because I don't want to waste a turn or waste the energy to find out. I am just moving, and I'm going here. Bam, let's see what we get. And so you turn over another spot, and you can see it's a big asteroid field. And so then you look, and he has to line it up so it matches one of the of the spots on the board, so it's the same. And the way it's going to match up is like so. Get that die out of the way. And he got lucky because he moved to that spot, and he almost went right into the asteroids. But he did find a new spot that he sees. There's a mining area. There's another exploration token we can put down, like so. And so now, like, that player has found a new location. And you can see how the board is going to expand out very quickly. I mean, there's other planets. This planet has a green border around it, meaning it's neutral. This planet has a blue border on it, meaning it's lawful. When the lawful planets, if you have been attacking other players, you've earned a bounty. You will actually earn a reward if somebody happens to kill you. And you can notice that the bounty actually goes up here. You'll place these poker chips, which are the money in the game, on that spot. And so you become more and more valuable for that person, for somebody else to hunt you down and kill you. And so, but if you enter into a lawful area, you will actually, you're not allowed there. And, you will actually, I believe it is, I think you take damage if you go in there. Neutral areas will let you go, and they don't care one way or the other. And I'll see if I can find here we go. And this is an outlaw area. And if you move into an outlaw spot, no matter what you've done in the past, you immediately gain bounty just because you are fraternizing with evil people. And you are now considered to have a bounty, and you're considered to have a price on your head. All right, and that's that part of the game. Now, you might have noticed these particular spots there. Those are the mission areas of the board where you can gain missions to earn yourself money and fame. Oh, and I do apologize before I tell you about missions. If you have a bounty on your head and you try to go to a lawful planet, they won't let you in the gate. And so you actually have to try to bust through the planetary shield, probably taking damage in the process. But that's how that works. But I'm sorry, missions. If you as a player end up on a spot that is a mission spot, there is this huge deck of cards here that have missions. And what you do, you draw the top 3, and
you look. Now, missions that are orange, assassin, are evil, go figure. And missions that are blue are considered to be lawful missions. Orange missions tend to pay out more money. And so they are actually, pretty, tempting, if you will. Like this one, it says, a gang of non-mango runners would like to get revenge on a local pilot who is edging in on their business. Remove the pilot and you'll be rewarded. The target is the player on your left. So you, and then you don't show this. You're like, hey, I'm coming after you. You if you take this, you put it face down in front of you, and so you go, and if you can kill the guy to your left, depending on the size of a ship, 1, 2, or 3, you will get that amount of money, but you'll also get that much of a bounty on your head for doing so. And once you've taken on the mission and you succeed, you kill the player on your left, you reveal it, and then you reveal the fact that you have to go to Azure, which, this planet happens to be right there. And so you come in here, and there's another mission point there. Once your ship reaches that point, then you've completed the mission, and you can turn in and you can take another mission. It's important to note that you can only have one mission at any one time, but you can always ditch the mission you're on and try something else. And some of the other missions are like this. It's a research mission. You have to fly to this location, Vortex, and then you roll d20, and then you have to take the data to that. And, there's the fame point for doing so, for completing the mission. And then shuttle, this is fairly common as well. You have to pick up passengers from one location and deliver them to another location. And depending on how far you go, between the two locations, the closest, you can't purposely fly around in circles like a taxi driving around the airport for 3 or 4 hours trying to pump up a fare. But what it is that you count how many sectors are between you and where you pick them up to where you're going, and then you earn the credits according to that as well. And missions are a real fun way to actually just have something in your back pocket, if you will, to you don't have to do them immediately. I mean, they can sit in front of you for as long as you want, and and once you get to them, you get to them. All right. That's a lot of the basics of the game. Every turn that you take is going to be that. Using your energy on your ship to use the different functions of your ship to take yourself around the different areas of the universe, if you will, the solar system, and collect money, shoot people, things like that. Now, I wanted to show you combat. That's the last thing I was going to show you, and I'm going to explain how combat works, and this could not be simpler. There's two types of combat, basically. Blaster combat, in which case two ships have to be right next to each other. They have a range of 1. Or missile combat. And missiles can have a range of you can be up to 6 spaces away. There are some special abilities that some of the ships have that allow them to fire from different, I know there's a particle beam on one ship that has a range of 3. But for the most part, you're either going to be firing at people right next to each other, or you're going to be firing at somebody far away like that with your missile. And this is really simple. Like with a missile, you look and see what you roll. And so this particular missile has a D12. And so I put my marker on this, and this would be on a blueprint, obviously, but I put my marker on there and say, I'm firing a missile at you. And immediately after I declare that, the player has to look and see, all right, well, I have these shields. You know what? I am going to use 2 of my shields to protect me from the missile, because I don't want you to hurt me. And so what happens then is there's no roll to hit. You just automatically hit the person theoretically. And like with the missile, you roll a d12 like so, and I got a 7. And then the person with the shields, they roll their shields. So he used 2, so d6 for each one, a 3 and a 5. So he would get 8 for his shields, and meaning that he absorbs all the damage from that particular attack. Now you might think that stinks, but you got to remember the person used up 2 of their action pawns to do that. And so if you're constantly chasing somebody down and attacking them, they're using up their armed pegs, if you will, to do those actions. And so you can always, so hopefully, at the very least, you've slowed them down or harried them a little bit, even if you didn't do damage. And as I said, if you do damage, you fill up these particular locations with those damage cubes. And if you ever fill up every single one of these spots with one of these little damage crystals like that, you blow that ship up. And then if you do get blown up, don't worry, you're not dead forever. You do get to respawn. You'll notice that each one of these little spots has a little spawn point with a little skull on it. And what you do is you just on your next turn, if you're in a tier 1 ship, the lowest possible ship, you don't lose a turn. If you're in a bigger ship, you do lose a turn for that. I think that's just because if you have a smaller ship, they want to make it so it isn't totally debilitating for you if you just got knocked out. So you don't lose a turn if you have a low 1 ship, and you just roll a d20, and then it's a 7. So you just here. Luckily enough, there is a 7, so I respawn in that spot. But if there wasn't a 7 out there, you just take the number that's closest to the 7. If there's 2 numbers out there that are equidistant, the player gets to pick. And that's it. I love the fact that the rules of the game are very, very simple, but the game itself is deep and fun and exciting, and each turn, like I said, it just rolls along, and there's enough interaction going on, and between each player, as far as maybe hunting each other down if you want to blast them out of the sky and take their cargo, if you will. And there's also enough interesting things going on each person's turn with the different missions and what have you that it's a lot of fun. Now that's just player versus player. I'm going to show you these really quickly so you know. There are actually some NPCs that will move around on the board as well. There is a scoundrel NPC, and once you find the pirate planet that this guy's on, he will start chasing people down and start shooting. He will attack anybody that's an innocent or that he wants to try to find them and destroy their ships. And then eventually, this guy will probably get a fairly good bounty on his head, and so it'd actually be worthwhile for a player to hunt him down and shoot him and take him out. There's also this enforcer NPC that he is basically a cop, and if you're a bad guy, he will chase you down and try to blow you up. And also, if you're a bad guy, you can try to blow him up, and then you actually get a lot of money and some fame, but also you get some more bounty on your head, which will make you, of course, the other players want to take you out. And finally, in case being a pirate hasn't been very lucrative, there is this wonderful merchant NPC ship as well that flies around this little trade route. These are all the different planets, and he goes from planet to planet collecting cubes and selling cubes and making more and more money until he is super, super rich, and he is just way too tempting of a target for anyone not to try to blow him out of the sky so they can take his money. And of course, then once again getting a bounty, which once again sets the enforcer off, and you can see the vicious cycle that goes there. So, I just can't say enough about the game. I'm just going to try to, while I talk here, I'm going to show you some of these minis. These miniatures are just so super cool. The game itself has big, thick tiles and really, really interesting artwork. It's just everything about this game just says epic level of enjoyment for me, even before I played the game. And I've just had a blast every single time that I played it, and it is a favorite game already for me and my gaming group. So there you go. That's how you play Xia Legends of a Drift System. So, all right. Well, you've known throughout this whole review that I've really enjoyed the game, but let me go on and on about it a little bit more. So my understanding is Cody Miller, the designer of this game, has a 3D printer or has access to, because I can only assume that's how he's able to make this. And he's actually at certain levels of the Kickstarter, if it reaches a certain level of funding, he's going to give access to his blueprints, if you will. So if you have access to a 3D printer as well, you can go and make
hundreds of these dudes, and then you'll be able to paint them however you want, or what have you. And I mean, awesome. And the thing is that, as a total aside, before I tell you 11 billion more reasons why you should back Zaya, how cool is it that these are all 3D printed, I believe, models, and I mean, this is what it's what's coming. I mean, this is totally cool, because the whole thing is that now people are going to be able to make stuff like this, and like homemade board games are only gonna. I mean, obviously on other things too, but board games are only gonna become better, as far as their components go, or as far as what people are going to be able to make in their own homes and things like that. And as just a total kudos to Cody. I mean, thanks, man. This game looks awesome. No, he's probably going to ask me to send this prototype back, and I'm going to say I lost it. Anyway, so all right, so that's how you play the game. Zaya, Legends of a Drift System. There's a lot more to the game, but that's like the real basics of the game. Each turn, you just take your actions, you use up what you do, and then once that's done, you just kind of go through the whole stats, and you let the next person do their thing. And what I don't think I was able to really show to you was the fact that this game, I mean, each turn feels like an adventure for you. I mean, you're traveling, especially if you're like exploring outer spaces, or like if you're hunting down another player and trying to blast their spaceship out of existence, or and it's like I talk a lot about games telling stories, and there are certain games that are just storytelling games, and of course that story's just there, and but in thematic games like this, and this is most assuredly a thematic game, or an Ameritrash game, if you will, this one tells me a story. I believe I am that pirate captain, chasing down the other players, and shooting them out of the sky for their cargo. And I am, the trader that's just trying to brave the dangers of the nebula, and trying to collect the precious cubes of whatever, so I can deliver them for more money, so I can buy more fame, and so I can hopefully win the game. And it's stuff like that that allows me to immerse myself into and excuse the melodramatic nature of this station, to allow myself to immerse myself in the rich tapestry of the storyline of the game, that really makes the game more than what it is. It is a game that the goal is obviously to get to your fame goal, and achieve that, and win the game, obviously. But it's the story that you have to get there that is the reward, not the actual winning of the game. I mean, I've gone into playing this game just with an idea for what my character would be doing. I've gone into the idea of okay, I'm going to be a merchant for as long as I can to build up my money so I can get a really good ship with really good guns, and then I'm gonna switch it, and I'm gonna just start hunting down all the other players, and I'm gonna start preventing them from winning, because they're not gonna be able to do anything else, and I'm going to because they're gonna be too busy running away from me as I'm using my long range missiles to blast them from afar, and it's stuff like that I like that, and then I lose, or whatever. But still, I had a fun little story that I went on, and a little adventure, or being just the guy that has the super fast ship that's out exploring all the different sectors of space, and then you get to be that guy who puts the things down and gets to find the cool new stuff first and stuff like that, and that's what I've really dug about playing the game is that it's never been. I mean, okay, fine, winning is cool and it's fun being I'm the champion of the universe, but it is for me more just that experience of playing the game, and that, in a nutshell, is what I want from pretty much any board game I play. I want the actual playing of the game to be fun, not winning. I don't want to play a game to win. I mean, okay, I play a game to win, but I don't want to be playing the game for just that purpose. I want to be playing a game to be having a blast. And this game is an absolute blast to play with your buddies who are all in the same boat as you as far as the science fiction theme and the idea of being, in a spaceship and doing what you're doing and cheering for yourself and cursing bad die rolls and laughing at your friend as he once again, goes into a debris field and has his ship explode out from underneath him, because he rolled poorly and stuff like that. I mean, that's what this game is, and it's a hell of a game, and it is amazing. It looks amazing. It's different. I mean, nuts and bolts, if you want to go nuts and bolts, fine. It's different every single time you play because of the fact that you got this big old stack of sectors. And let me tell you something that is hilarious, and this will happen when you play the game. There is the star, this giant star, and okay, maybe it's a little ridiculous, the idea that if somebody doesn't scan for this and just happens to go into this sector blind, that all of a sudden, oh my god, I didn't see this giant red star right here, and then they melt and die. Okay, that is ridiculous, but it is oh so funny when somebody does it, and it's happened on multiple occasions. Maybe it's that whole drift system. It's like always revolving weird, and you just can never tell when the star is going to show up. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it may be ridiculous that you can get blown up against this, but it is funny as hell. But from a strict mechanics standpoint, the game is solid. It's just, I mean, everything, the mechanics make sense, and they also are thematic. I mean, they also, the game, I mean, I can only imagine that, like, I mean, he said this game's been in development for many, many years, and it shows. I love the whole puzzle aspect of the pieces of the ships that you have to, like, figure out a way to put these little outfits, as they call them. I don't really like that word, outfits. This is my outfit. What am I putting on, a top hat and a coat? No, I don't really like that terminology uses, but those ship parts, as I refer to them, I mean, it's fun to figure out ways to put them in these blueprints and figure out a way. And let me tell you, after like flying around this little tiny ship, when you finally get like these giant ones here, like that can have like just way more and have bigger spaces for the big giant missiles and things like that, it's definitely a lot more fun. Well, I mean you can win the game with these. I never have, but somebody did in one of my games. But and plus there's all these little in-jokes and little, like, sly, funny things that you can see. Like on some of these ships it says, like the options on this ship is, recessed wipers. Like the ship. Well, you can't read that. But I mean, it's like little, the designer has gone the extra mile to, like, make the game, funny. And make the game just fun to look at. And just fun to experience. And that's what bottom line with this game is. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Once you get your copy, you are going to play it to death. Your players are going to ask for it, and I can only imagine the sky's the limit as far as expansions, more ships, more sectors, more options, more of these NPC dudes to chase around. I mean, I can just see 100 different ways that this game is going to be made bigger and better in the future, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So, you know what? Hopefully, I've convinced you to go out and back Xia, Legends of the Drift System. If I haven't, then, I mean, hey, to each their own. But I definitely think this is... hopefully this game comes out in 2013, but I'm guessing because of the production quality, we're probably not going to see it until next year. But it will be one of the best games of the year in 2014, unless it just doesn't get published. So, all right, well, there you go. Hopefully I convinced you to go ahead and check that out. And don't take my word for it. Go and look what other people are saying about the game. I mean, lots of other reviewers and lots of other people are saying the exact same thing that I'm saying right now. So, all right, well... Thank you very much for letting me gush about a game that I'm super excited about. I hope I've impressed upon you that, why I think this game is going to be amazing. And there you go. If you have any questions or concerns or ideas, I will answer them to the best of my ability. I do know the designer will be watching this video on Board Game Geek and also on the YouTube channel, and he'll definitely be able to answer questions you may have as well. yeah, I mean, thanks a lot. Until next time, this was Undead Viking. You take care and have an awesome, awesome day. I'm going to gloat about the fact that I'm going to go ahead and play this game again as soon as I'm done with this video. All right, bye-bye.